You probably won't find any document written proclaiming we hitherto believe that all people are inherently sexual, and anyone who would suggest otherwise is a fool. However, you read what people were doing, what people were thinking, and the trends through history, there has been an inherent assumption that people are inherently sexual. Although at various times it has been thought that men, and men only, are very sexual, that women are asexual, that they generally don't have sexual needs. Now, if you believe everyone is sexual, with maybe the exception of people who are in a marginalized position, why would anyone bother to try and prove otherwise? The theories of evolution and natural selection would support the hypothesis that the inclination to engage in procreative sex is necessary to the continuation of an individual's genes and that of the species. So with good reason, scientists could assume that everyone is sexual and has a drive to have sex because it is advantageous to have this drive. However, the fallacy in this is evolution and natural selection works on a macro level, and though we can observe a general trend, there are exceptions to the rule. And we humans are especially social, so there has to be some consideration of peer pressure and other social factors. Without first having the foundation to have open scientific intellectual debate and experimentation, it would be very difficult to conduct research. The three most prominent figures pertaining to research of sexuality that I will mention here are Alfred Kinsey and Masters and Johnson. Kinsey is probably best known for conceptualizing sexuality as existing on a continuum from 0 to 6, from exclusively heterosexual to exclusively homosexual. But some of his other findings during his time were also quite significant. One of these findings involved that although a relatively large number of people reported engaging in sexual behavior to the point of orgasm with someone of the same sex, they did not identify as homosexual. Another significant finding is Kinsey was perhaps the first researcher to document the existence of asexuals. He categorized them as X. Masters and Johnson, their primary contribution has been conceptualizing the cycle of sexual response: excitement, plateau, orgasm, resolution. The picture on the left, the yellow tag, reads Sex Education for Adults. Sexual revolution. Contraception has been perhaps the single biggest contributor to shift how many of us think about our sexuality. Because of birth control and condoms, sex has become divorced from procreation. As a result, if we so choose, we can have sex as frequently as we want, with the limited risk that it will result in conception. Starting in the 1960s, sexuality starts to become a much more acceptable thing to display and discuss. Many people were experimenting with different types of relationships and family structure. Today, it seems to be the accepted norm that everyone is always thinking about and pursuing the next opportunity to get laid. To asexuals living in a culture that is hypersexual, where everything seems to revolve around sex, it can be incredibly alienating and no doubt has contributed to the need to find other people who feel the same or similar way. The Internet. Several years from now, or perhaps several decades from now, it may be a hot topic of debate as to whether asexuality would have come into the mainstream if not for the Internet, or if it would only have been a matter of time before it became noticed. But either way, as you shall see in the next few slides, the Internet has played a significant role. Why? The Internet has been, and no doubt will continue to revolutionize our world for several key reasons. When someone is online, either surfing the web or logged onto a social networking site, you can be completely anonymous. You can talk you can write about and say whatever you want with relatively no consequences unless you are reckless enough to have it connected somehow to a page with your name, address, phone number, and email address. The internet at this time is minimally regulated. You go to an electronics store to buy M-rated video games or CDs that have a parental advisory sticker. You may not be able to buy that game or CD if you are under a particular age. You go online, you might be able to find the music video of that song on that CD you wanted to listen to. So long as you know what you are looking for, it is pretty easy to find information online about almost anything. And finally, the internet provides the means to connect to anyone on this planet, given that they have a cell phone or computer with internet access. The internet is perhaps the ultimate social vacuum where we can discuss taboo topics with other people with limited concern about how it will impact our relationships with other people because we can just unplug ourselves and log off. In 2001, an online forum, the Asexual Visibility and Education Network, was founded. At this time, it is one of the primary hubs of the asexual community. It was founded by David J., and as of December 12th of 2008, there are approximately 16,467 registered members, and growing with each passing day. A little about David J. Similar to the experiences of many asexuals, David J. could begin to sense a shift in the people around him in 5th grade, when his friends started expressing interest in relationships and physical intimacy. In high school, a number of women came out as either bisexual or lesbian, which exposed him to different identities. But even with the additional frame of reference, he still could not relate what he was feeling with what other people were feeling. He did eventually come to use the word asexual to describe himself. Sometime in high school, David went to a week-long camp called Anytown that discussed issues of oppression, and in that time the word asexual was used, but when he pressed for more information, they could offer none. David J., during or after completing college, founded AVEN because of feeling inspired by finding a story online that accurately reflected how he himself felt. And as people say, the rest is history. The goals of AVEN are twofold: to create awareness and visibility and create an asexual community. In a metaphorical way, I like to think that AVEN is shining a light, drawing attention to something that has been ignored and overlooked, as well as holding up a mirror to society and reflecting on the emphasis that we put on sex and sexuality in our day-to-day lives.